Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about some cool things about Leith Links. So how are you all? Hope you are all happy and healthy and well out there, wherever you are. Yeah, today we have came down to Leith. Lots of people have been wanting me to come down and start to explore Leith a little bit more. So we're in Leith Links Park today, which, as you can see, the sun is low and blinding today. It is a nice, big, beautiful space. There is a road that splits it in half right here, but there's more over the other side as well. And Leith Links has got quite a few historical elements to it, so I think it's worth, at least just topping and tailing a couple of them. Not going too in depth with them, but it's good facts to know, So first of all, it used to be way bigger. It's a big space as it is. I'm not quite sure the size of it, but there's obviously buildings there, and then there's streets, and then there's Leith docks and things like that going in that direction there. But actually, Leith Links used to go all the way up to the shore. Like it used to. I'm not sure how far it went up that way, which is heading in toward Restalrig and things, but down that way it went all the way to the shore and out past the bottom of Leith Walk and everything as well. It was an enormous space. And believe it or not, down at Leith there did actually used to be sandy beaches. There's only one small bit of sand down there now, which searching you'll find it, but it's tiny, it's really small. But there did used to be beautiful sandy beaches down there, and Leith Links went right up to it. So it's dramatically shrunk in size, which is actually quite a thing to say, because it's still very big. It's a good size. Lots of things go on in here, and generally, football and loads of other activities. It's a park. That sun is blinding. See, it's difficult because I don't want to get backlit by the sun, but words talk. Bleh. But let's just have a quick glance all the way around. It's nice, isn't it? Lots of beautiful trees here as well. I think I don't know the area brilliantly. It's not an area I grew up in or have really ever lived either. But I think there's a couple of schools in the area. There's parks and fitness over there. So it is a space. It's a beautiful, relaxing, nice big space. Next up on interesting things, golf. Golf. Now, truthfully, especially this area of Scotland and when you get out to East Lothian, just along the coast, which is essentially called the Golf Coast, you can't throw a golf ball without hitting a golf course. And this was no different. There was a golf course on here. I don't think there really is now. There's maybe a miniature golf course or something, but there was apparently a 5-hole golf course on this site, dating quite far back. And traditionally, you would play it twice. You would go around twice. And here's the thing, when we're talking about a space that has changed a lot and is no longer as big as it was, I've got no idea. It's difficult to get my frame of reference even with different maps. But the history of golf in this space goes back quite a while. King James the 7th played here. Charles I played here. Apparently Mary Queen of Scots played here. Now, this might be a bad comment for a Scottish person to say, so I say this risking my own life. But if you look at a lot of places in Scotland, they tend to have a tie to Mary Queen of Scots in some way. That woman apparently got about Scotland quite a bit. In fairness, she was queen. She didn't have a good time as queen, but she was queen, so it makes sense that she would get about in a fair way. But apparently she played here as well at one point. There was also a famous game of golf here at one point, which was a contest, which I think was the first international contest of golf with the Duke of Albany and 2 English courtiers, which was for the national claim of the game of golf, which is something I never heard before. Resulted in the construction of Golfers Land, which I think is probably just a street somewhere up here now, wherever that is. But I'm guessing we won. And apparently this site, this golf course that was on this site, it was at the time one of the most important golf courses in the site. These 2 English courtiers came up claiming the rights to golf. I don't know the full story. This is me racking my brain for a little bit of history right now, but I'm guessing we won. But this area here, when you tie into golf, there's a few areas, especially, like I said, in East Lothian and things like that. But the rules, the official rules for the game of golf, did start to get established here on this sort of site, in this area, which I've now continued on again. And I think it was the official sort of home of international games for a short period before that kind of moved about. And you go down the road, you go down to East Lothian and you go to Musselburgh, and there's a Musselburgh Links golf course there as well. That ties in a lot with Scottish golf history as well. I have done a video a long time ago on that golf course / horse racing space. But it is one of the stories I really love, and I know this is separate and I'm rambling a little bit, but it's a great story that in Musselburgh, the golf course there, that's where the size of a golf hole was established and set in stone. That's where they decided, I think they were having a golf open and international, and lots of places the hole would be a different size, a different golf course round about, because there was no established thing. And they were saying, right, we have to set this. We have to set this. This cannot change at every place we go, otherwise it's pointless. So I think the tournament was going to be at Musselburgh at the time, and they said, well, we only have one thing for cutting holes. This is it. This is the size of it that we have. And they went, right, well, that settles it then. That is the official size of the holes for golf. So it wasn't some big discussion of, right, what's good, what's difficult, what's easy, what is it? It was the tool they had at the time. They went, well, this is great, all this discussions about what size should it be, this is the only size we can cut. And they went, well, that solves that then, we'll just go with that. So all all of you golfers out there, and you know, more rules would have been this. I know this isn't about this exact area, but it's a great story. Most of the rules would have essentially been established in this sort of area. But yeah, down the coast, they went, all the holes that you play on now, that size was set down the road at Musselburgh Links, because that's the only size they could cut the holes. Love it. But I think probably one of the big things about this area, one of the facts about this area that growing up was definitely one that I knew, was that plague victims are buried in this area quite dramatically, quite a lot. And there's a few areas like that. 3 main areas, if I remember correctly. Here, Holyrood Park and the Meadows. So essentially 3 biggest green areas in the central sort of Edinburgh area. And remember, this wasn't Edinburgh. I know I said it in the video last week as well, but this wasn't Edinburgh until just over 100 years ago. You know, it was its own separate place. It was the, I don't know if it was the city of Leith, the borough of Leith, I don't know, but it wasn't Edinburgh until 100 years ago. And like I said, Leith has really kept its identity, which is beautiful. People of Leith have really kept their identity, and a lot of them will not say still they're from Edinburgh. They'll say, I'm from Leith, which is a lovely, you know, that sense of, this is me, this is who I am. That sense of identity is lovely. It's really, really good. Now, when I was young, and I remember hearing these stories about, you know, plague outbreaks and mass burial sites and everything like that, I imagined it all at once. You know what I mean? I imagined that it was this short period of time that plague just ravaged the area of Edinburgh and Scotland and things like that, but Edinburgh got hit really bad with it because of, you know, bad sewage works, essentially, or lack of sewage works. And they just had all these unfortunate souls, and they buried them in a mass grave. And I suppose to an extent some of that is true, but on the other hand it's not, because plague went on for a long time. If I remember rightly, about from the 14th to the 17th century, so a good, you know, few hundred years there. I may be slightly off, but I think that's roughly about right. So, you know, mass spaces, mass graves were needed, or at least large areas of grounds were needed. And I remember, because I was very fortunate, in primary school we did have a teacher who would teach us a lot about Edinburgh history. He would talk about Edinburgh history quite a lot, so it's probably where I get my love of it from, because we got told it a lot, which I don't think was part of the curriculum. Look at me with the fancy words. I don't think it was part of the structure of the class. He just, if there was time extra, he would spend time talking about Edinburgh history, and it really stuck with me. And I do remember hearing about mounds, like mounds here in Leith Links, here in the meadows, and then it's at Holyrood Park where the mounds would be where the bodies were. So as a kid, you can see there's a little mound right there. To me, if I had came here, and probably did as a kid, I would imagine that that's where that is. That's where it would be. But you have to remember as well that it was way bigger. It was, like I've said before, my phone's tinging in my pocket. It was way, way bigger. And St Mary's, I think it is, which is up that end, school, when that was built, or an extension, one of the two, I'm not quite sure, they found 79 bodies there, which they believed were buried after the plague, and then they were removed and reburied in a cemetery. And I think there's a plaque, I don't know if it's there or if it's at the cemetery, but interring and turning them and laying rest and memorial to these people who died of the plague. That's just three. That's just three little facts about this area, but there's lots. There was battles fought here. People have loved here. People have wandered these gardens for many, many years, and history has been made on this site. I have no idea what I'm saying. But there you go. That's just some cool facts about Leith Links. What I think is important is, look at this space. It's a lovely big green space in Edinburgh, which we are very lucky to have multiple spaces of. And I think, like I said, you can see just through the grass over there, through the cars past the road, there is more over there as well, probably about the same size as this space here. So it's important to keep hold of these spaces in towns. We're very lucky to have, like I said, many spaces like this. I think we are the greenest, definitely the greenest city in Europe for grasslands, possibly in Scotland and possibly in the world, but definitely in Europe. So if you're in town, if you are in Edinburgh and you're starting to explore Leith and you're just wanting a place to sit down, take a few minutes, relax, this is definitely a spot to come to. There we go. A few cool facts and stories about Leith Links. Hope you've enjoyed that today. I've been meaning to come down here and start to explore this space for a while, so hopefully this is the start of us spreading out from the centre as well and starting to enjoy more of Edinburgh and surrounding areas. If you have enjoyed that, as always, leave a like, leave a comment. If you know any other stories about Leith Links or Leith in general that you think is good stories for me to tell, please leave a comment as well, let me know. I am always, I think you all know, I always want to learn more. I always want to learn more, so please, if I'm wrong, correct me. If I am just missed out on an incredible story, please tell me as well, so I can look it up and share it all with you all as well. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, that would mean the world. And a massive big thank you to everyone on Patreon who supports. If you would like to support the channel, please head over to our Patreon link. There is a link in the description down below. It would really mean the world. It has genuinely helped us out over the past year and kept us going. So thank you to all you incredible Patreon people. But Till next time, bye humans.